we move on to the second presentation, that is on issues and concerns in global food service management by none other than again our alumni, Mr. Manoj Barot. Now, Mr. Manoj Barot has 21 years of rich experience of working in foods and nutrition industry, and he is a successful entrepreneur for the past 10 years with business interests basically in retail, quick serve restaurants, catering, and dining services management. And in fact, he is also the vice chairman and treasurer of the National Franchise Advisory Council. And he's a certified training mentor to run the Blimpie store training programs. Again, just like Dr. Swati, even Mr. Manoj has many awards and accolades on his side. For example, to state a few of them, he has been awarded the Franchisee of the Year, Southeastern Region Award. Also, he has been awarded the Best Restaurant Operator Award, the Trailblazer of the Year Award, the Most Beautiful Restaurant in the Southern region. So basically we have, and in addition to this, Mr. Manoj also has a national level recognition by the Blimpie CEO in his interview that was there, which was published as a cover story in October 2003. So I hand it over to you, Mr. Manoj, for talking about the issues and concerns in global food service management. Over to you, Mr. Manoj.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
As we see, Manoj has also received another award from Rotarian International, and I think, Manoj, you should talk about that also. That was just 2 days ago.
Well, okay. First, I want to just make sure that everybody can hear me clearly, because there was an echo. So I hope you are able to hear me clearly. And again, I mean, I can go on and, on so many things. But today, I want to present a case study, like what an entrepreneur, what an alumni of, this great department. And
another award from Rotary.
Hello.
We can hear you, Manoj.
Yes, yes. Okay. So I will start, by sharing my screen, first of all. Mine may not be... Well, first of all, let me tell you, as per me, what does a foods and nutrition department means to me? It's like a super grocery store, and it does not discriminate anyone. Each one is at liberty to pick their own grocery. Each one is at liberty to cook their own life and let the world decide if it is delicious or not. So that is what it is to me, our foods and nutrition department. As for my professional journey, it was like setting up my own curd. It could have gone wrong in many places, but investment of my 5 years into the education at the department helped me reap the benefits of enjoying chas, lassi, butter, ghee, whey, and sometimes lactose as well. When I mention lactose, it reminds me my very first, adventure in an entrepreneurship, which was, at this Lactose India Limited. It's a plant which was started near Poicha, Baroda. And I think that was kind of my first professional job at there, doing a quality assurance. And it's a very little interesting story, but then I knew really, the entrepreneurship does help. Lactose was basically buying tons and tons of whey from Amul, and it will come in these large tankers, and we were supposed to analyze the percentage of the lactose in it, the fat in it, and everything. And finally the lactose was being produced at this one, but as a byproduct they were also separating this fat, which was basically nothing but the makhan, or in another word, ghee. So that was also being, it was like a byproduct, and it was kept on piling up at this Lactose India Limited. And they only had the license to sell the lactose, and they now had on their hand a problem what to do with this, byproduct, which they cannot throw it into the sewer because it would be environmental hazard. So I decided to buy that ghee and then started selling, but it was just funny that I went there for a job and I looked for an opportunity to do the business, and I started selling the ghee, from the lactose. But again, soon, I came out of that. I went to Madras and I started, pursuing my MPhil, and then also my PhD. And then I was a program coordinator for the, doing a physician assistant program. So I continued doing that for about 4 years in Madras. It was a big hospital, Institute of Cardiovascular Disease, and it was run by a great surgeon, Dr. K.M. Cherian. And so I had a great opportunity working under him. But again, today it's all about the, food and nutrition, the entrepreneurship, the food service management company. We all know that all the foods and nutritional professionals have a complex role. And it's for a very simple journey from to fork. If you summarize everything, whatever it is happening between farm to fork, that is where we are all placed in. Whether it is a operational role, it could be anything, operational. There are thousands of operational role. There are thousands of food safety role, in between farms and fork. There is thousands of research and educational roles between farm and fork. Of course, the public health policies and budgetary. So it's a very simple journey from farm to fork, but each one has a very, very, very complex role. The last role between farm to fork is in between farm to table. And it's a role of a food service management company, or I also call them as a community mom. This is where the rubber meets the road. And why I say that this is where the rubber meets the road, because food safety principles, the health policies and everything, the food service management company, as we saw in Dr. Swati's presentation, there are thousands of things which we are supposed to be taking care of. There are thousands of compliance, health related, the taste, culinary. There are so many aspects. All the knowledge about the foods and nutrition, the food service management has to kind of really, put into practice and then serve it on the table. So that's a very, last role after, everything is combined. So I am kind of fortunate enough to find, that kind of a role in my life. I was fortunate enough to, of course, the Blimpie was my one of the first adventure. Then after that, I started applying for the, management contract with the universities, and I had a successful operations at the 13 university here in Georgia, in the various universities. And then I ran retail food services with my own concepts. I created with my own concepts like, Sizzle, which is kind of a McDonald's. Then we had a, like a Garden Street Deli, which is like a Subway. And there were so many other concepts which I created, and they're still existing. If you go to my website, smurti.com, you will find, about all these websites. But as the time passed, and as I'm also attached to non-profit organization, and I always like something to do giving back to the community, I decided to see food service management. Everybody's running after a commercial food service management, but there is a great potential for a food service management for a government-based program also. So I decided to go for the similar kind of a program here in the USA, and I started focusing on that. And then I decided, well, there are so many government food service programs. Which one should I be talking, or which should I be, morally accepting? So I decided to go something which serves basically for the children, or mainly for the kids, because everybody else has a, voice, their opinion they can express, but children are the one, which really needs to be taken care of, as well as we also morally needs to take care of them first, rather than solving the problem at the later, at the adult age or at the senior. So I said it would be really nice if I can focus, my food service management skills for the government program, and mainly for the, children related thing. So I started a concept called as a Meals for Kids. And just like in India, we have a midday meal program operated by government, but it is purely operated by government, and there is no involvement of a commercial companies. But here in USA, we have a similar program. It is called as a CACFP, or it is other word Child and Adult Care Food Service Program. And under that CSCFP, they have a school nutrition program. They have a summer food service program, because here there is a 3 months of a summer vacation and children are at home. And then children who needing the nutritions, they are stranded at home, or they are, away from the schools and they need the nutritions. And then there are also at risk or the after school program, where again, after the schools, when parents are still at work and when children go home, or they can be supported by the local counties or governments, cities at the recreational park, and they can be getting these meals also. So I decided to use all my knowledge of this 21 years, started, pursuing this career for Meals for Kids. So that is what I have been doing it, lately. And that is where I feel the rubber meets the road, for me. And just to not to tell you a lot, because there was a really wonderful presentation by Dr. Swati Olivia, and I'm telling you, whatever she mentioned, each and every point of there, I have been there. Every part of that, I have been there. I have practiced, and believe me, it's not easy. It really takes away your sleep. It really, I was working basically 20 plus hours a day, when I was following or pursuing, the food service management in the universities. But believe me, it was also very rewarding. But again, it is your choice what you want to use your food service management skills. So now, of course, this COVID-19 has taken the, entire world. But for me, it kind of became a beneficial. I'm so sorry to say that, but it helped me in a double way, because it gave me an opportunity to serve the children who were stranded at home. My food service management company was selected by the city of Atlanta and then Gwinnett County. These are supposed to be the biggest counties and cities in the, Georgia. And when the schools were out and then children are still at home, and there are so many children who cannot, or the whose parents cannot afford a, like a good nutrition, then they always depended on this CSCFP program or schools to provide this nutrition. Now, suddenly these parents don't have a job, the children are at home, what do they do? So government decided to start delivering the meals either at their home or in the area nearby, where they can go and pick it up. So our company was chosen to provide, such emergency meals, and we are still doing it. And I just thought I prepared a small video to show you, and it will explain you, or whatever I learned throughout my career, I was able to apply. And I wanted, everybody on this presentation, or the people who wants to be in the food service management, that there is a different way, there is a different opportunity also in the government program, where you can apply your food service management, skill. It is not only the cafeteria, it is not only the college, university, the, commercial buildings and everything, but you can have, your food service management company go for something like this as well. So let me see if I can show you this small video. Just a sec.
see the video.
Vanisha, you said you cannot see the video?
No,
Hello.
no, we can't see the video. I'm Meenakshi this side.
Yeah, we are not able to see.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? Just a sec. Share. New share, okay? How about now? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Just a sec.
Yes, we are able to see the screen.
Okay, and it starts now. So, well, that was my case study. I just wanted to share with you guys that, Vanisha, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Manoj.
Okay, yeah. So that was my one small case study, you know, out of like several other businesses. But this was right at this time, you know, COVID-19, and how food service management company mainly, you know, is like a Meals for Kids is helping the children stranded at the home. And I think that's it. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, you know, at the end.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manoj. And for the excellent presentation, the talk, as well as what you mentioned, the last role between farm to fork is in between farm to table. That was excellent. And also the video that we saw that has been liked by many of the participants, that is the meal for kids, which of course reminds us of our midday meal.
Exactly.
And we would also strive to make it, get it to the same level.
Right.
That would be our aim. So excellent presentation, and thank you very much for being with us today. We will take up the questions at the end if you permit.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, thank you so much.